Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. We're here in Brookshire County on our new bus line that we put in the last video here in Salt Lake City, and in this video we're going to focus on detailing all these areas that we expanded in the last video and really finish off this city before we move on to other projects. Alright, and so let's get on to what we're going to focus on in this video. And pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to focus on filling out this area here where we have our new highway connection to Salt Lake City. And then we're going to also focus on detailing this island here, as this will probably be a pretty big, almost tourist attraction here in Salt Lake City. We're going to have boats and stuff sort of on the inside of this island. And then maybe this side has more like hotels and larger buildings looking out over the water out towards Portland. And so there's going to be a lot of custom things here that we're basically going to have to build and detail ourselves. Over here, again, I mentioned we'll probably have like a supermarket placed here, and then maybe do similar things with sort of commercial buildings in this area and this area. And then we'll do something here on the end that also looks this way out towards Houston over the water. And so we'll get all of that up and functioning. And then I think that's pretty much all that we're going to do in this video, as we're going to get into a good amount of detail when it comes to some of these things. And we're also going to allow the city to really start to expand into these areas. So we're really going to leave Salt Lake City in a pretty good position once we're done here. Hopefully we won't have to come back for quite a while, and we can start to focus on some of the other cities around the map. Alright, and so with that, let's get into this. We'll start over here with the supermarket and other commercial things, and then we will probably come over here and finish off with this island. Alright, and now we're going to take a quick break here just to go over what we've done so far. So we have our main supermarket here, and all of the parking for that here along this road. And I think this whole plot of land came out really nice. I really like all the details we were able to squeeze in here. You can see here with the parking, these are all people magnets, so we have that set to commercial. Right now we have it set to 40. I'm not too sure how much of a demand that's going to bring in at the moment. We'll just have to sort of wait and see what's happening with that. As we can see, all these cars, we put one back here for industrial, as I assume that would probably be like for these people who would be working this job. But it seems like the industrial demand is way too high. Let's bring that down another 10. We might have to wait for that to update, but it does look like a lot of people are coming to just go into this person magnet that we have. We'll continue to adjust that until we get something that seems about right, but we largely want the main focus to be here, these parking lots, seeing the cars come in here and turn in. We should be able to see that here with our destinations layer. You can see some of them have some people coming in. I'm not too sure how these numbers work, as this is at 40 and it's hardly drawing anyone in, but as you see here, our industry one is down to 50 and it is really pulling a lot of people in. So I'm not sure if maybe we just have too many of these and Salt Lake City is overcrowded with commercial areas, so people are choosing to go other places than here. So maybe we need to bump these up, or at least a few of them. Let's just try to do that. We'll bring some of these up to 80, and we'll see if that maybe helps bring in an extra little bit of demand. Because again, we do want to see a lot of the traffic here in the parking lot, not really the back roads where the trucks and other things will be coming in. And so we'll give it some time to settle in and see what happens there. But as you can see here, we sort of made our own custom supermarket with one of the warehouse assets and then just a sign. There's a lot more details we could add in these areas, these sort of back of house storage and loading areas, but I want to wait till we have better trucks unlocked for these situations before we detail this. But we did add a small bit of detail where we could, just to still help bring some of this to life. And then over here we just have a small sort of corner shop. You can see here some of the loading stuff back this way. And then I think I maybe want this area to be sort of a truck rest stop. So like a lot of the big trucks can come in and park in this area if they needed to. But again, that's going to be something that we're going to have to wait for as time goes on until we unlock those better trucks. Now this did take a lot longer than I expected it to, so I don't think we're going to get to filling out this area and then this area up here, which is fine because I think we'll just let the city slowly expand as it comes up this way, and then we'll cover this much farther in the future once the city is sort of ready for it. But I think this shopping center here really looks good and really pays off, especially with the highway tucked in behind it. I think this is a really nice addition to the map here. Alright, and so then with that, we're going to come over to this island here, and we're going to sort of do the same thing. We're going to have some larger hotel buildings and tourist buildings up here along the water. We might leave sort of the main road here empty to see if maybe Salt Lake City can put some buildings over this way, but at least this waterfront will all be buildings that we place. We'll get a little port here, sort of like a little fishing dock area, and I think we might even just have a small ferry running across here. We'll see how much demand that generates, but I think having a small ferry come across the water here would make sense, as a lot of people would have to drive all the way around to make it to this island. So we'll get that placed in, and when we come back, hopefully this island will be pretty much done up how we want it. Alright, now we're back after doing a little bit of the island. We didn't really do as much as I was hoping to, but I think we're in a really good spot to end at the moment. So we can see here, first, starting over here, we have our ferry that comes across. Now I don't think this is really getting too much demand just because there's nothing over on this island just yet. And it looks like it hasn't even taken a single person, but that makes sense as there's nothing here yet for people to use. So let's quickly come in here and we'll use some of these person magnets yet again. And so first of all, we'll start here and we'll use this bar that we have. And we'll set this as a commercial demand. Now I think we'll have a little bit of parking somewhere, so I don't want to have a connection on the main road, so we'll probably turn this around and we'll just get a connection right here for now. A lot of this is going to be temporary and solely just to generate demand at the moment. When we come in and detail these a little bit further, we can start to do that with a little bit more accuracy. And then I think here we will want to, hopefully we can get this right, but we can line these entrances to this hotel. If we get a residential connection. So yeah, we can get one here, we'll get another one here. That doesn't line up perfectly, but from a distance I think it looks just fine. Let's see if we can do the same anywhere else. This, I suppose, would be a commercial demand, but well, I guess we could have it end, or we can have it stop the road. Actually, we'll go with no street for now. This will just be then to generate some demand. And we'll use a street lamp to signify these, just so in the future we can identify these, since they don't have too much of an easy spot to find. And then again, these will be residential. And we'll mark this with a street post on the corner. Here we'll get 2 more street lamps just like that. And then I think that will be good. We'll get another just commercial demand right here for this Ferris wheel. And then I think that should be enough. Now we don't have any industrial demand over here, but I think that's fine as this is supposed to be solely tourist destination. So we'll see over time if the city begins to fill in with some random buildings. We don't have to worry about protecting any of these builds just yet with the collision tile, but we will eventually have to. I think we'll wait until this is more finalized, but we can already see here we're getting some demand. We'll have to tweak the numbers as we see fit, but overall I'm really happy with how this came out. Now let's take a quick look at our destinations layer, and of course we can see that we're starting to generate some of this movement here. It looks like, so our public transportation numbers are now in blue, but we can see people are going to start using this ferry. You can see here we have some private transportation, which I assume is people driving in across the bridge over and into this bar. We can't really tell if these are bringing anything in, but I think we would see it here on this little ticker, or right here where it bumps in, but of course it's going to take time to generate demand, and then once this is all finalized, we'll place a lot for commercial demand for these beaches. We'll maybe get like a parking garage or two, and then really crank up the demand on those so we can get a lot of people coming into this area, but for now, I think we're good with this. And then of course checking back in over here, it doesn't look like we're getting really the numbers that we want, but we do see people coming in and out, which I think is exactly what we need. We see a lot of people on foot coming in. We see some cars coming in and out. So I'm pretty happy with how this is. Again, we're going to duplicate a similar idea, but on a much smaller scale on this plot of land, and then maybe this plot of land here. Now there is one more thing I want to do, but we don't have the mod for it. I know we can get a mod that allows us to, it's basically like the person magnet but with resources, so I think I want to get that somewhere over here so we can actually deliver goods to this area. Now obviously it won't be a lot because I don't want to waste a bunch of our resources delivering to something that would unproportionally need that much, but we'll probably place one, have a line with 2 to 3 trucks, and then have those come in and delivering. Maybe one line goes here, another line comes over here somewhere, but I think that'll be interesting just so we can start to see some traffic on some of these lesser used streets that wouldn't normally be used by the public. Alright, and so I think with that, that is going to be all that we do in this video, so let's take a closer look at everything we've done, and then when we come back, we'll take a look around the map at some of our numbers, take a look at our passenger transport, and then determine what our next steps and future projects are going to be. Alright, and now we are back here in Salt Lake City. We can see sort of at a streetscape scale of what this supermarket looks like. And I think it looks quite nice from a sort of first-person view. I'm really excited to get more projects like this around here. But anyway, Salt Lake City is in a pretty good position to really not touch for a couple of videos, as we have more pressing needs across the map that we need to pay attention to. So let's take a look around. And so I think our next biggest priority is going to be getting our passenger transport really revamped in a lot of areas. For instance, Portland has a lot of this new growth that we have yet to fill with public transportation, so we're going to get some bus stops out here, some bus stops out on this end of the city, and refine all of these buses. I think we'll have to take a look at our trains again and see if we maybe need more, or if we have a better train unlock that we can use. Moving on to Allentown, it's going to be pretty much a lot of the same, extending our bus stops, upgrading our buses, maybe even upgrading this train as Allentown is continuing to grow. More demand is coming in and out of here. And then following that train line up here to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh seems to be all right, but there's definitely a lot of areas where we can get some buses coming in. Pittsburgh is also actually pushing up against its target population, so I think we need to pay some attention to what's going on over here and maybe fix this up a bit. We do have this a little bit of a traffic issue here, as we always have, but we'll focus more on getting people moved around once we take a closer look at this. Taking a look here at Roswell, I think the bus stations in Roswell are actually able to keep up fairly decently. There's a few stops where maybe it's a bit overloaded, so we'll have to take a look there. And then this train station is also getting to be fairly large, so again, another thing. I think a lot of our issues are going to be the same. A lot of our cities are going to need more bus stops, and then the trains are probably going to need to start increasing in frequency. Taking a look here at Lincoln. Lincoln is, again, one of our next projects where we're really going to redo this part of the city. You can see we just have a huge traffic problem at the moment because these streets don't connect. I think temporarily we will make a connection knowing that this is going to go away, but I don't want it to negatively affect the city until we get around to it. So it's going to be ugly, it's not going to be too pretty, but it should help with our traffic problems at the moment, and that way Lincoln can continue to grow while we focus on other things. But this is definitely going to be a top priority for us. And then looking at Tacoma, I think Tacoma is really shaping up to be a really nice city. Now this bus network really hasn't grown much, and I think it's in desperate need of an overhaul, as a lot of these bus stops are overloaded and in desperate need of more vehicles. So we'll get that going. I think the train here also needs a bit more, but I think Tacoma is in the best shape out of all of these cities, as it'll be pretty easy to just extend these. A lot of this just follows a generic street grid, so hopefully Tacoma will be one of our easier fixes when we get around to it. And lastly, here we have Houston, which I think is doing just fine. We do have the coverage to cover most of the city, but a lot of our stations are pretty full, so this is going to be something that we might need to work out somehow. Maybe that's more lines, maybe it's more vehicles, but that's something that we will need to take a look at, especially with Houston looking to be our sort of capital city on the map. We really want to make sure this city functions the best out of all of the other cities. And then lastly, let's take a quick look at our lines and make sure nothing is going too crazy. So our biggest loser of money is our tools and fuel train coming from Salt Lake City to Portland. And now this seems a bit odd. It looks like we might just have it on an off period, because this train should be doing pretty well for us most of the time. But the next one is our machines and goods into Houston line, and I think this is just because we don't fully have the infrastructure set up for it. You can see it comes and goes, but I believe we're still not giving goods to Houston yet. That's something we'll need to work on. But again, we do need to keep an eye on the traffic situation that we have down here in the lower end of Houston. We want to make sure that we're keeping our trucks out of all of this so that we don't cause more problems with this in the future. And then, of course, taking a look at our top earners, of course, it's the other goods line that we have coming into Houston here. And then we actually have our passenger train as one of our second best earners. And this is the line that runs from Pittsburgh to Roswell to Lincoln. So I think this might just be a matter of getting more trains running, and this line will just continue to earn us money. Pittsburgh has 500 people waiting on that line. Roswell just has over 1,000. And then Lincoln, although it's not the most in-demand line, it does have over 300 people waiting to use it. So I think overall, there's a lot to be improved upon with our passenger travel. Alright, and so with that, I think that's going to be all for this video. I know this was just a lot more of a detailing episode with not that much commentary, but this was something I really wanted to get done to wrap up our Salt Lake City project. But we'll start working on more productive projects in the next coming videos. But I think with that, that's going to be all for this video. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.